Hey everybody, welcome back to the Department of Comics. I am your host, Agent DeCamp, and today we're going to talk about slabs. There's been a lot of stuff going on with the YouTube comic community about slabs, mainly like CGC's price increases or the slabbing companies, the way they actually do their grading, things like that. So I want to kind of talk about how I feel about slabs. To me, slabs basically came out because of, I would have to say, eBay or online purchasing, because in the old days you used to have to go to a show or a store or to a friend or an ad in a newspaper where you would actually go and physically see the book before you bought it. You could open it up, make sure all the pages are there, nothing's cut out, it's complete. You could see any conditions on the spine, tears, anything like that, any type of conditional aspects at all. And then with the advent of eBay and the internet with online buying, suddenly now you're able to purchase something from all over the planet, and you're not able to hold the thing and actually see what you're buying. You have to rely on pictures and descriptions from the seller. So having something slabbed would kind of help solve that. But to me, the important part about that is, once it's slabbed, is it still a comic? One of the reasons is because once it's slabbed, you can't open it up and read it anymore. Okay? Once you buy that Grail book you've had, that you wanted, I should say, not that you had, you finally found a Grail that you want, and it's slabbed already, and you buy it, basically all it now is a picture on the wall or a box. Okay? There's nothing more you can do with that. You can't open it up. You can't smell that old paper. You can't have the tactile feel of the pages. You can't look at the art inside the book. So it kind of fails to be a comic book anymore. It's just a piece of art that you hang on a wall. And if you're going to do that, to me, I was talking to a friend of mine one time. It's like, why don't you just get a photocopy and frame it and hang it on the wall? There's your book. It's still there to display. I mean, I realize, that's far-fetched because, you don't own the book. You just own a picture of it. But still, it's so nice to be able to open the book and look through it. One of the earlier videos, I actually opened up my Fantastic Four #4. It's the first Namor in the Silver Age. And you're able to flip through it. You can feel the pages. You can look at all the Jack Kirby art in there. You can read every page. It's such a nice feeling, better than just buying a book online and getting it in a plastic case that you can't open and say, wow, yep, I got it now. Yeah, but you got it to look at. You can't really do anything with it. So there are 4 grading services that I'm aware of that slab books. The premier one that everybody is the go-to is the original, which is CGC. Okay, they've upgraded their cases and their labels over time. They're nice, sturdy cases, but still they have problems every now and then. Sometimes you can shake it and you can feel the book move around inside. Little things like that. I mean, nobody's ever happy all the time, but it looks nice, but I can no longer read it. I mean, this series here, I'm a Captain Marvel fan, and not really because of the stories. I just like Carol Danvers back from his Marvel days. So any of the books I usually get of her slabbed, I have another copy that I can open and look at. So the next one that came along was CBCS. I believe they're the next one. Once again, they come in a decent case. A lot of people tend to like their cases better than CGC's, but they prefer CGC's grading over these. You can get grading notes from the companies if they provide them. So that's the other thing is, sometimes you might not get any notes at all, and you have no idea why you have a 9.6 instead of a 9.8. All right. The next one that came after that, I think that was the order they came, was PGX. I think this is an old PGX case in style. I'm not sure. I'm not a PGX fan. There's a lot of people online, like if you go to Bry's Comics will not deal with PGX anymore because of their, I don't want to say shady, but it's just their, maybe I should say shoddy type of grading. I mean, a lot of things you hear is that when they first started, they were pumping out a lot of 9.8s because they were hoping that people would send them more and they get a lot of business out of that. It's not a good business practice, which of course everybody should know. So that's them. Okay. The newcomer to this group is EGS, Expert Grading System Service. And this is another one out of Florida, just like CGC. This is one of his old style cases. It's a clamshell style that you could buy on your own. He would have to put a little security seal on here, which isn't really good because you could just get your own security seals and do whatever you wanted with it. The nice thing about him is you don't have to go to his site or register with anything to get your grader's notes. They come right on the back with his certificate of authenticity. And once again, also like CBCS, he does signature verifications. Like this was a custom sketch for me done by Andy Smith at MegaCon. And once I got it done, I submitted it to EGS, and he did the verification of the signature and the sketch and did the book. He came back with a 9.6. And why is because he says slight scuff top and bottom left corner front cover, spine stress lines back cover. You know, he tells you exactly why it's a 9, not a 9.8. He does have new cases now. I have to get a hold of him to submit the few books I do have graded by him with the new cases, are the kind that you can't open unless you break it. And also his happen to have UV protection on them to help them from the light. So those you can actually display without having to put a piece of UV resistant plastic over the top of it. So those are the 4 grading systems. I mean, out of all of them, I mean, I kind of like EGS the best because I think he's actually kind of harsh on his grading. I mean, he really goes into the book and looks at it. I mean, I have other books on there where he gave it an 8.0, and I'm like, why? And I'm looking over, I was like, yep, I can look from his notes. I can see exactly what he was looking at. And it was really good. His turnaround times are okay. I mean, I'm not trying to advertise for him. But from the videos I see online on YouTube here, the other companies seem to have issues with consistency. And the other thing I can't seem to understand is what is the big hope for a 9.8? I don't understand why we're not getting 9 9s and 10 0s. I mean, a lot of these books are coming fresh off the printer and going straight to CGC. So why aren't they getting the 10.0s? I mean, the other problem you have with them, I don't think I have it here, but I have a Black Panther that I won at MegaCon, and it's an 8.5, I think it is, and it's a modern issue of Black Panther. And you could see the reason why it was an 8.5 is because the corner was damaged and the book was dropped. You can tell it was dropped. And nobody was submitted that book to CGC because it was too new. And if you don't get a 9.8 on a modern book, it's really not worth it. You can watch different videos that'll tell you about that because pretty much the value just drops so much from a 9.8 to a 9.6. It's unbelievable. But basically, yeah, that's, I would prefer not to buy slab books. I do as kind of a novelty. If I can find it cheap enough, I'm not going to buy an expensive book. I'm not going to pay $300 for a slab book because if I'm going to spend that kind of money on a book, I want to be able to read it. I want to be able to open it anytime I want. So that's my opinion on slabs. Well, I guess another thing you can use for slabs is if you want to use them as investments and turnaround. You want to be able to sell it. See, I don't like selling my books. Once I have a book, I like to keep it, unless it's a double. But I really don't want to have all slabs and no raw books because I want to be able to open a book and read it. So if I already have, I have my Fantastic Four #4, and if I can find a slab one cheap enough, I would buy it because I already have another one to read. Why I would do that really is kind of nonsensical, but I would rather have the book I can read rather than a slab. I would rather have to go to a box to pull it out and open it up and read it than just be able to look over at my wall and say, wow, that sure is pretty. So that's pretty much my opinion on slabs. If you can, please leave a comment. Tell me if you agree with me or disagree with them. I read all the comments because I don't get many. I'm still new. If you can, please like the video, subscribe, share it with other comic friends if you want. I'd like to grow the channel. And until next time, keep finding those comics and have a great day.